Alright guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. So, we got a bunch of easy A's in the JP data download for Peppy Gals. Some of them seem like they'll be solid. None of them were really, I think, like, overly impressive. But I think the two summonable units, so Sheila, I think, is amazing in terms of her support and stuff like that. Fasha might actually be better and might, like, lead into something crazy, right? So, I've been saying this for several months. We see what they did with the Ginyu Force team and how overnight they turned it into, like, you know, a top 5 team contender, right? With how strong Dokkan Fest Ginyu is and the Raccoon, Goldo, Britta, and Jace. They've treated Team Bardock kind of the same as the Ginyu Force throughout the years of Dokkan, right? Like, we got the full free-to-play squads. All that stuff is pretty much the same. If we get like a Dokkan Fest base form Bardock, like that's as good as Ginyu, and then we get like the same sort of setup, this Fasha could be very crazy in this like sort of like theoretical like insane sort of like Team Bardock setup that we could get similar to the Ginyu Force. In that like instance, this Fasha would be disgusting, right? So Fasha actually does have a 200% leader skill. She's on Raditz's team. I mean, yeah, I know it's, you know, Raditz, yeah, sure, man. But all the Team Bardock members are on Raditz's 200%, right? Which, of course, you know, they're on Pure Saiyans, and then they're on Space Traveling Warriors. We're on a couple of kind of minor teams here, though, right? Like, she's on Storied Figures, she's on Peppy Gals, she's on Team Bardock, Low-Class Warrior, so she can be pretty impressive there. Link set is Team Bardock, Saiyan Warrior Race, Saiyan Pride, Saiyan Lineage, Battlefield Diva, Shattering the Limit, and Prepared for Battle is her Link set. So, you know, having like Saiyan Lineage, Prepare for Battle, Saiyan Warrior Race, she's got some really common stuff. Now, Fasha's continuing a mechanic that they've started doing for several characters that I think is really good. So, Fasha guards for the first 4 turns. I think this is a very good compromise, because clearly they've decided that Tech Ultimate Gohan is too good, too strong, right? Like, that's what the point of this is. He's, you know, guarding forever while stacking is just too powerful. But by giving characters like this Fasha, LR Goku, Black, and Zamasu guard for the first couple of turns, I do think that is very effective. So Fasha, right, will be able to dominate EZAs and probably Super Battle Road stages for a very long time to come. And I think because she has so much buildup in her kit, right, she's at 150% attack and defense start of turn, and she builds up 30% attack and defense with each attack received, and 30% attack and defense each time guard is activated, right? It's just, she's looking pretty good, I think. I think this Fasha fully built up could be very, very devastating. All right, so let's go ahead and see what we get right here. So again, Fasha needs to take 5 attacks while she's guarding, and then just 5 attacks in general to fully buff her up, right? Linked up with this Tech Tor right here, he's a support. This is going to be good for Fasha. Everything activated except for Battlefield Divas. She's at 169k defense right there, which is not good, but she has guard. Even with guard, it's like we're starting to get to the point where that's really not that crazy, but very quickly she's exploding, right? So, you know, she got 60% attack and defense with each one of those hits she ate, right? Because she has 2 separate sort of like procs here. She's getting 30% attack and defense with every attack received, and then 30% attack and defense each time guard is activated if there's 3 low-class warrior or Peppy Gal category allies on the team, right? So I suppose we could sort of get cucked here in that if Fasha's not able to take all the attacks she needs to early on, we're not going to be able to have her full passive built up, but I do think that this Fasha is actually quite exceptional. I can see her being a major player, right? Like, the Peppy Gal team could probably beat, like, Broly and Omega. Maybe. Probably. You know, I'll have to jump in and test it out, but I do think there's at least a reasonable chance that the Peppy Gal team could win. With Sheila and, of course, Fasha, both insanely busted characters. I think with them, like, you've got a really good shot, right? Like, if you're going up against Broly or Omega, and you have a really strong first or second turn, and then Fasha's, like, fully built up or nearly fully built up right away, you are going to be in a really good position. This Fasha's going to be strong. And it's like, you know, in a turn or two, we're going to see her with, you know, 500k plus defense. And I would just like to remind people that it's like, you know, maybe in 6 months, Fasha, what if this Fasha, who, again, is about to look insane, by the way, but what if this Fasha becomes, like, I don't know, the 5th best unit on her team, right? So she was hit, what, twice, and she's up to 400k defense with guard. If she, does this Fasha have any dodge at all? No. Okay. So after this turn, she's going to be fully, we'll have her full passive completely built up after this turn right here, right? Because, you know, remember, she has to take all these hits, both when guarding and just normal hits taken. And then after her guard wears off, she gets a guaranteed additional that has a high chance of being a super. All right, so 5.9 right there. Vegeta did lower our defense, so we'll just have to keep that in mind. But it's not a big deal because we'll see her maximum damage here. 6.3 already. Still not fully built up, by the way. So, like, it's like, if she's going to be doing 6 million attack stats with the amount of defense she has, just as, like, a banner unit, like, this Fasha, to me, seems like she's up there with, like, Berter and Jace and stuff like that. I think both Fasha and Chilai are up there with, like, Berter and Jace tier characters, 19 and 20. I definitely Raccoon and Goldo are better. They're just, like, they were so stupidly designed. That unit is just so stupid. But I think, like, Fasha and Chilai, like, they are actually in the mix with, you know, like I think Raccoon and Goldo's a bit better, but, like, 19 and 20, Berter and Jace, Fasha and Chilai, I think are kind of, like, neck and neck with each other a lot of times. This Fasha is crazy, man. Right now, it's not like we have the greatest places to use her. She's got some good links, right? Saiyan Warrior Race, Saiyan Pride, Saiyan Lineage, Prepare for Battle, stuff like that. Like, we could find spots for her, but Fasha's destiny is to be a dominant monster on the whatchamacallit team. Okay, so now, okay, this is her, she's debuffed right here. Keep this in mind. Her defense is like 600k plus right here, along with the attack stat she'll get too. I'm going to go ahead and have the LR team Bardock super attack first. This will give Fasha a little bit of an extra attack buff. I believe Fasha is still guarding right here. And then, you know, after this turn, I believe is when her guard wear off. We have everything activated, of course, except for Battlefield Diva. This will be the best turn we'll see from Fasha throughout this run. But yeah, she's very good. The only thing I wish that we could add to this character, which would actually help her out a lot, it'd be crazy. Her super attack effect, she raises attack for 1 turn, which is mostly pointless, supreme damage, and then a high chance to stun, which is good. But I really am not a fan of characters not getting defense. Oh, okay, so 10.9 right there. Okay, that's pretty good. What do you guys think? You like the 10.9 right there by Fasha? I think that was pretty solid, I'm gonna have to say. Yeah, man. And then now her defense isn't debuffed, so we'll get to the next turn. And Fasha's gonna have like 600k plus defense, right? Like, she's really good. And I think if you look at the numbers this Fasha does, a lot of times when Dokkan like decides like, all right, like, yeah, it's time. We'll release a good unit here. And I always feel vindicated. Like, yes, like this is what I'm telling people. Like, these are the types of characters that Dokkan could and should be releasing now, right? Something like this Fasha. This Fasha's great. I know to maybe a lot of people it might seem inconsequential because it wears off. That guard at the start of the fight is so good. Because, you know, we know how annoying, like, the RNG can be of what your opening rotations are like. Well, with these characters like this Fasha, LR, Goku, Black, and Zamasu ZZA, we don't really have to worry about it now. Because it's like, you know, yeah, like, our rotations are bad, but Fasha's gonna be safe, like, pretty much no matter what, right? You could be... There's not really like a turn 1, slot 1 character that's going to completely destroy her. I mean, if we could use her in one of these really difficult... the recent Extreme Super Battle Road stages have been quite hard-hitting, right? It's like Goku family and Vegeta family. It's like, sure, like, if we take her into there, she would take a lot of damage, but, I mean, she's not on either of those categories, right? In there, she would certainly take a lot of damage, like, you know, before she builds up. Because, remember, she has to take 5 normal hits and then 5 hits with guard activated for her to be fully built up. Keep in mind that her guard activating, that could proc normally just against an int type enemy for her. So if we weren't able to fully build her up and we were going up against this God Vegeta right here, we would be able to build up her like guard part of her passive just by getting hit by this God Vegeta. All right, what's their defense right here? Let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so Fasha's at 721. So she's not getting any defense from super attack or anything like that. But, like, imagine this Fasha against, like, Omega. Like, she's going to perform pretty well, right? Like, Fasha's good. This is how they need to start building summonable characters. This is what summonable characters need to look like now. Exactly. I think Fasha looks good to me. This is a good character. All right. I have to imagine some of the free-to-play players, like I pull it up at 700k defense. Like, yeah, that's a good character. She's good. And, like, some free-to-play players like, oh my golly, 700k. But it's like, yeah, she's looking good. I like Fasha. I think both Fasha and Chilai are both really exceptional characters. I think Dokkan, like, they killed it. Like, I really like the designs of both, actually, right? Chilai with no attack, supporting in every way, Scouter, Rainbow Orb changing, support, dodge, healing, all that. And then Fasha just has, you know, these first couple of turns of guard, and then she gets ridiculous. Because remember, when Fasha's guard wears off, she then gets the guaranteed additional that has a high chance of being a super attack. So Fasha is just a very, very powerful character. And, you know, in 6 months, this might be like the 5th or 6th best unit on the Team Bardock team. Imagine how crazy. The Team Bardock team could make the Ginyu Force team look like nothing. They can make them look like babies easily, right? So keep that in mind with this Fasha right here. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all next time.